Fiancé is insulted that I do not want to live with his mother. My fiancé, 32M, and I, 30F, have been together for the last 7.5 years. This year, he lost many people in his lives, including his childhood friend, his uncle, and lastly, his father. This took an extremely heavy toll on all of us. I grew up with a single mother, so my future father-in-law was the father I didn't have. He has been visiting his family more frequently since then. His mother, 2 sisters over 30, and his niece share a 1-bedroom apartment. The relationship he has with his sisters is interesting to say the least. Even as the youngest sibling, he still feels the needs to take care of everyone, and now that his father is gone, he says he needs to step up as the man of the house. One of his sisters has a job but doesn't really contribute to any expenses, we'll call her Sister M, where the other sister, Sister T, hasn't worked since her daughter, his niece, has been born 12 years. His mother threw the idea of buying a house with the money his dad left for his sister T, niece, and herself. Last night, we were discussing our future home and he mentioned his mother living with us with her own bedroom. I said I wasn't completely comfortable about this as I feel like we'd need our own privacy. He mentioned, well, she can watch our kids, cook and clean. This of course all sounds fantastic, so I even mentioned and compromised that maybe we can get a multi-family home so she can have her own space like her own bathroom, kitchen and bedroom. He got upset and asked if I was a family-oriented person. I mean, I grew up with a toxic family and a single, extremely independent mother, but that doesn't mean I'm not family-oriented. He then brought up the fact that he doesn't have the luxury like me to not worry or care about his mother. He went on about how I should compare both of them and continuously reminded me about how dependent his mother is and can't do really anything by herself. Am I being too insensitive and unreasonable by saying I want our own place? I even compromised and said we can get a multi-family home. I love her dearly and can't wait to have her be a part of our family, but I believe we truly need privacy too. Edit. We're both first-second generation immigrants. He has the typical family dynamics of a Colombian family and I am a Filipina. Edit number 2. He has since apologized for his inappropriate behavior and comments, and we both realized he's very much grieving over the loss of his father. Because of this, he feels he needs to protect his mother, but we agreed this wouldn't be best for any of us. And yes, we have discussed no living with in-laws when we first started dating. We are seeking both pre-marital counseling and grief counseling. And most importantly, we will help Mill find her own place far enough without his sisters. So you set a reasonable boundary and he immediately insults your character, accusing you of not being family-oriented. Does he do this in other ways? He bulldozes over your boundaries and your feelings when he wants something. Fiancé is insulted that I do not want to live with his mother. Fiancé is insulted that I do not want to take second place to his mother for the rest of our married life. Fixed it for you. Wait. His mom, 2 sisters and niece share a 1-bedroom apartment. I honestly feel sorry for the kid. If you let his mother in, she will probably bring the whole family. If you got the multi-family home, she will definitely bring everyone with her and y'all will end up supporting everyone. You can also forget the privacy either way. He will probably put his family's needs first and yours second because somehow he feels it's his responsibility to take care of fully abled adults. I can see this ending badly. Am I being too insensitive and unreasonable by saying I want our own place? Nope, you're not unreasonable. And the way your significant other goes about this isn't that healthy. I strongly suggest you get some premarital counseling to figure out if you can get on the same page, or if it's time to move on. He mentioned, well, she can watch our kids, cook and clean. And TBH, this comes across wrong in my eyes. He then brought up the fact that he doesn't have the luxury like me to not worry or care about his mother. This is your fiancé. Get used to having all your weaknesses and emotional hurts that you shared in confidence to be thrown back at you when he doesn't get his way. He does not need to be the man of the house over at his mother's place. I sure she perfectly capable of running her own household. The freeloading sisters need to get off their entitled backsides and start paying their way. Has mother been consulted about this hostile takeover of her domain? His mother would be better off downsizing to a nice little place she can maintain on her own. I don't think her idea of retirement is to babysit, cook and clean for him. Your husband needs to concentrate on being the man of the house in his own house. Tell him emphatically that this communal living idea is not on. I think this is the hill for you to die on. No. Full stop. I love my mill and my mother is fine, but this subject has been brought up sometimes and all involved parties have very enthusiastically expressed their disdain for the catastrophic idea of children moving in with parents. The mother is living with 2 daughters and plans to upgrade for normal house with said daughters. Even if they might need occasional help, it does not require for him, and you, to move in. His loyalty should lie firstly with you. You aren't some 2-month girlfriend, you are woman he is going to marry. I do feel like there might be some additional cultural differences, but I also think your fiancé might benefit from professional help in dealing with his grief and issues arising from that. Until it happens, I would not marry this man. Does his mother know that he wants her to be alive and nanny and maid? How old is she? There are family structures that work with multi-generational families. This sounds like dysfunction junction in no boundary city. Think very seriously about whether or not you want to be in a house with his mom, sisters and their kids, for the rest of your life. If the answer is no, don't stay. No, you absolutely are not. My mill is a totally sweet and loving woman whose only flaw is consistently telling me being Catholic is wrong. Yes, I was raised Catholic but I don't consider myself an active member. Do I want to live with her? Hell no. We need our space. I'm not going to be listening to advice from the peanut gallery. Living with mother, father, mill etc. is a recipe for discontent and eventually divorce. I honestly don't know how people do this. I'm even going to say I wouldn't live with my own mother. I stayed with her a week when she was recovering from a stroke and I was ready to smother her with her own pillow after 2 days. Have you asked him what happens to the sisters here in this situation? It almost sounds like he plans on moving everyone in and I wouldn't like that. I can assure you that if your mill has enough money to buy her own place she isn't going to want to watch your kids and clean your house. Your idea sounds very reasonable and I'm sure she'd love her own personal space. Red flag. I read a lot of just normal, so not a good sign. Your so puts his mom before you. There are single-family homes that include what's literally called a mother-in-law apartment. Maybe he misunderstood what you meant when you said multi-family. I grew up in a multi-generational family home and would have continued to do so if my mother hadn't passed away young. I think it can be a great setup, as long as everyone has their own space. To me this just seems like poor grief management. He's clung to this idea of being man of the house, and that title is keeping him together. He needs therapy and grief doesn't give him the right to be a dick. Just run. Save yourself the heartache and your time because it seems you've wasted enough of it. I could see a triplex or duplex situation, but sharing a living space is a bad idea for most people. It only works in some very rare cases, and as newlyweds, I doubt you'll have the time to cement your relationship, which sounds like it needs work, and juggle the relationship with multiple in-laws. I'd get couples therapy to work on the communication piece with your partner and hold off on the wedding. Living with in-laws always brings problems. Save yourself the trouble and refuse. As someone who will take care of their parents in the future and will continue to live with them, it's a big responsibility. There's a lot of sacrifices. This discussion cannot be hostile, which your fiancé does not seem to understand. He needs to open up his mind and deal with his grief before he tries to make this huge decision. I think your fiancé really needs some therapy. He experienced a lot of loss this year, and if he isn't normally like this, it could be the grief talking. You are not being unreasonable at all. He is acting impulsively and emotionally, and very rudely. As someone who has had Mill live with us and seen how terrible it can be, I advise against this. Very strongly. You need your own space to be your own family. It will stress your relationship out. Good luck op. I wish you the best with this. You're not unreasonable, and it's a good thing you're having this discussion before getting married. I recently lost a family member and I understand the need to come together to support each other. I think your idea to buy a multi-family place is a good compromise. Having to support his sisters while they lay around and do nothing would drive me nuts. Fuck that. Do not marry this loser, or you will be stuck with his mum until she dies. Making your life miserable. You should tell him you don't like your opinion being stepped on and smashed into the ground by guilt and manipulation. You shouldn't be forced to live with anybody you don't want to live with. If his mother can't take care of herself, she won't be taking care of your kids, and cooking and cleaning. The most realistic thing to happen here is that you will end up taking care of all those things and his mother. Also, Those deadbeat sisters will want to move in at some point, too. He shouldn't be running around visiting family in the first place. Social distancing? Especially with his elderly mom. Once the mom gets moved in, the sisters and niece will follow. They don't support themselves. They have never been able to support themselves. Those are the facts. They will be at your doorstep with their stuff and never leave. And if you have kids, think of the cramped chaos. Your house will be just like that one-bedroom apartment. I'm super family-oriented, and even I wouldn't wanna be living with my parents, who I adore to the sun and back, by the time I'm in my 30s. Or anyone else's parents. Like what? No. Stick to your boundaries. And really think about this and what the rest of your married life will be like if he continues to put his mother before you, his fiancé. He's not even trying to compromise. Wasn't his mom talking about buying her own house? Does she even want to live with you? Sounds like she wants to do her own thing. His mother threw the idea of buying a house with the money his dad left for his sister T, niece and herself. What happened to that? That seems like the better option, really. Oh, girl. Really think twice about marrying him. Kinda seems like he's gonna love his mom in whether you like it or not. Yikes. Your husband says she can clean and watch the kids, yet she's so dependent and can't do anything on her own. It wouldn't just be the mom, that's for sure. When she got into your house, she would probably try to infiltrate every aspect of your life. She would quickly try to become you and become your fiancé's most important person in her life again. I would not do this or agree to this if I were you. My boyfriend is the same way. Total mama's boy and wants to take care of her when we buy a house, but we settled on her getting her own trailer on the property so she can have her space but be with us too. It's a sacrifice, but if you love them, I guess it's worth it. You need to decide if you want to live with all these people, not just your fiancé. This is not a short-term issue. He wants to live with all his family surrounded by him, and it sounds like you do not. Those are lifestyle choices that clearly differ for both of you. If you can't live in a multi-generational household, this may not be the person for you. There is nothing wrong with either choice, just know beforehand that you both want different things. Man of the house, that's implying the rest of his family is unable to take care of themselves. It's a bit insulting. He needs to catch up to this century. In American culture, it's absolutely not normal to live with parents in your 30s. You're entitled to privacy as a couple, so stick your ground. It's probably not going to be just the mother, soon you'll be supporting M, T and the niece if you give in. I would have a serious talk with him about this. It like his mother is pulling the strings. Caring about family is one thing, being unable to cut the umbilical cord and a doormat to one's family is another. I think he is the latter. My mom was in a similar position as you and said yes. My mom to this day regrets not saying no, since now our grandparents decided that we don't need a living room and made it their own bedroom. The biggest room in the house, and they want it for themselves. I hate the fact they would come over, stay like 300 days in a year. They never cared about privacy and would barge in my room all the time. I get annoyed just remembering living there. As much as it's normal to say yes most of the time, these people expand, they will stop caring and do what they want. My mom could tell you so many stories that would annoy you or make you mad. You're not being too sensitive, but this may not be the partner for you. He wants to be involved with his family to a degree you're uncomfortable with, and when you disagree with him, he insults you and brings up hurtful, sensitive issues. I wouldn't marry him, but that's me. Good luck, Op. I mean, when your argument is, my mother is too dependent to take care of herself, you kind of just stated the issue right there. From experience, don't do it. Your compromise was a good one, Op. You didn't say how FMIL is, whether she's manipulative or anything like that, but as whole, it sounds like him, his mom and his sisters are all extremely codependent with each other, and the death of his father has exacerbated it. Go to couples counseling before you get married. It sounds like he is now breaking pre-established boundaries and ignoring yours. No, I moved in with my parents for 2 years because it was closer to my daughter's school and there were so many complaints and issues. I think the best compromise is the multi-generation house where there's common space to get together but each family has space to unwind. Your husband saying you're not a family-oriented person is uncalled for just because you don't share the same view as him. He owes you an apology. What a weird family dynamic. 3 grown women share a 1-bedroom apartment. He's the youngest one at 32, so we can assume the sisters are at least mid-30s. What's even weirder is that somehow the idea of his mom having her own suite in the same house upsets him greatly. I feel there's something more to this. Personal experience with this says you're always gonna be number 2 and that's if you're lucky. The way it's gonna work is his 1. Mother 2, sister 3, sister and then at 4. There's you. Marriage is about you and him and there is absolutely no room for anyone else no matter how demonic or angelic their personality is. He's reeling you in. He's fishing for a sucker, a second banana to his mommy. He's lining you up for a lifetime of no privacy. You have every right to want your place to be yours. This is your life, not his mother's. It doesn't mean you don't care, and it's clear you are trying to figure something out. But at the end of the day, it's still your life. You don't need to set yourself on fire to keep his family warm. While I can understand what's motivating him right now, he also needs to understand that his wife is who comes first in his life. In the end, you need to know that he will support you most of all, and that includes respecting your wishes for how you will live your life in your house. This guilt trip he's trying to lay down on you isn't healthy in a relationship. I wouldn't want to live with my prospective mill either. You have your own lives and need to be separate. He can still look out for his mom and family while living in his own house. I think you were trying to compromise with a multi-family home. Just because you aren't okay with his idea doesn't make it right for him to push this on you. The decision has to be mutual. Not the asshole. Taking care of your family doesn't mean infantilizing and babying them. They seem to have the means but simply don't use them. I get the feeling that he would very much enjoy to be the man of the house, and the more in the house, the more he can show off and be adored. And then, he lashes out at a brilliant compromise. You're not doing a good enough job adoring him. Man, I have a great relationship with my parents, but it would have to be pretty fucking dire for me to let them live with me, and even then it would be conditional and temporary. No one's parents are living in my home. Your fiancé sounds like he's been manipulated his whole life into believing it's the kid's duty to take care of the parents. Your compromise was great. He didn't like it. He can take a flying leap. Yikes yikes yikes. I don't know how old his mother is, but if he is 30 and the youngest, I'm guessing your future mill is somewhere between 55 to 65-ish. Your fiancé is asking if she can live with you for the next 20 to 30 years. No privacy and dealing with him running every time mommy calls for the next 30 years. Never getting alone time with your husband. Having your postpartum time with your babies interrupted whenever they feel like because she is part of the family and deserves to watch you bleed and breastfeed. Fuck that. If I were moving into a house someone else was going to be paying for, I personally don't think I'd have room to make suggestions about living arrangements. Considering I'm not paying for any of it,